Hi everyone. This is another video about VS Code and Git, and I'm assuming here that you have already installed Git from the website. So let's get started without further delay. Right, and now assuming that you have XAMPP installed, uh, which I don't have, I'll need to go to the root directory C, and inside XAMPP, as you know, there is this htdocs folder where all the web applications should reside. So if I do a dir over here, I can see all of these are the different directories inside here, which are served by the Apache. So I'm going to go here and create another directory called new app, and it says new app already exists. So I'm going to create mkdir new app 1, and let's go and check that here, and we have this new app 1 that's created under c colon XAMPP htdocs, a new app 1. Now when you want to initialize a git repository, what when you want to have version control for your new application, what you want is to create a git repository inside here, because once you initialize a git repository, then that will take care of tracking all the files that are created inside this folder. So once you have that, you are able to use the git version control system, and you are able to get git to track your files, commit and so on, all those things which we'll be going through later. So to initialize a git repository inside this folder, what we need to do is we need to first change it to new app 1, and then we do a git init, and it says initialized empty git repository in c colon xamdocs, right? And if you see here, there is this git folder created over here, and there are some folders inside here which are basically Git's mechanism to store the changes that will be made. All the new files that get added in here, everything that's related to your web application will be basically inside here, and Git will be able to keep track of that. Now let's say you add a new file in here, and let me just add a very simple quick file. This video is just explaining to you the very basics. So later I'll do a video that explains you how to use this in a proper with a proper web application where you already have the folders created. There's a So I'll just call this readme.txt, and I can say something like hello world over here, and then you go back to your console, and then you try a git status, and as you see that git says there are no commits that have been made to the repository yet, right? And it says if you there are untracked files, and that's readme.txt. I'm sorry, it's I should not have made it a .txt because it's already a .txt. So I can run git status again, and sorry about that. I'll go to git this again, and it says yes, there is this file called readme.txt, and to include in what will be committed, right? So you need to use this command git add file, which I'm gonna come to in just a moment. And nothing added to commit, but untracked files are present. So there is nothing been added, nothing has been committed to this repository yet, but there are files, and Git is able to find out that there is a new file added. So what we now can do is what we can now do is try this command called git commit, and so we hit this command called git commit, and it says initial commit, untracked files, nothing added to commit, but untracked files are present. Now so you can't commit at this stage because there are no because this file readme.txt has not been added to tracking. So Git is not tracking this file yet, and to add it to tracking, we have to say git add, and we go readme.txt, and it looks like it's been added. And if we now do git status, we say no commits yet, but changes to be committed, new file has been added as readme.txt. Now you can also do uh, like, let's say you if you have lots of directories and lots of files over here, obviously you're not going to name, let's say you've added in one session, you've added 10 files, 15 files, you've modified tons of files, right? Obviously you won't remember the name. So if you create let's say a new file, readme1, and which says let's say hello again, and you just want to add this new file, in fact let's do git status, and it's gonna show you um, git status says no commits yet, but there is a new file called readme.txt, right, which is changes that need to be committed, which is being tracked, and there are untracked files which is called readme1.txt, which is not yet being tracked. So we go git add, and we put dot. Now what this dot is gonna do is it's gonna basically add everything that is in the root folder. Anything that you have added is gonna show up now. And if you now use git status, you're gonna see git I'm sorry, my spelling was wrong. It says there are these files that need committing. Right, now to commit these two files, so these are changes now, they are in a staging area. Git uses a concept called staging. So these are not yet committed, and when we commit, we have to essentially supply a message for committing, and you can do that by using git commit -m, and this is the message. You say initial commits, and git says it has committed these two files have changed, and it says it's readme and readme1.txt, right? So these two files are now in Git's repository, and Git is now tracking these files. Any changes to these files will be tracked, and now let's make a change to one of these files. So let's say I make a change to this file, and I say I add 2 exclamation marks over here, and then I say git status. Let's see if Git is able to identify that there is a change, and it says change is not staged for commit. In readme1.txt there are some changes which have not been staged for commit, and use git add to update what will be committed, and use git restore file to discard changes in working directory, right? So and it says no changes added to commit, use git add and or git commit -a. So now here what you need to understand is that Git has added those files, but when you have updated, it's not able to track. So to allow Git to track updation of files, you need to use the key -u. Needs to use option -u to git add, and then Git is now able to see that readme1.txt has been changed. So now why did this command work for us is when you say git add dot, it's only adding new files. It's only started the tracking of all the new it's only tracked all the new files that have been created since the last time. When you say git add and you qualify that with a -u, where u stands for update, Git is now able to distinguish between all the files that were in the previous version and all the files that have been modified. So -u is what you need to use if you want to want Git to keep track of all the keep track of the changes. And now we can commit this change. Git commit minus. Now let me teach you one new thing over here. If you just say git commit, it opens up the default editor that has been assigned in Git configuration as the default editor, and so that opens up, and please enter the commit message for your changes on branch master changes to be committed. So I am going to enter a something to the effect get commit made or something like that, and I'm going to save this and close this file, and it says one file changed and one interaction, right? So it commits it. So if you don't give any, if you don't give -m, if you don't qualify your commit with a -m, if you don't use that -m key, then Git actually opens an editor for you where you can edit, where you can actually specify what message you are going to send with that commit to the Git repo, right? And usually I wouldn't prefer that, but it's just one way.